Phil, I will be sure to keep looking for those dimes you leave me and the beautiful sunsets across the sky. I miss you deeply and will love you forever.
Next up, Megan.
Hello, I'm Megan. Nice. Okay. Okay. Philip James Reilly, or as I like to call him, Dad. Words will never be able to describe how much appreciation I hold for him. Dad made me the person I am today. My blue eyes are not the only thing I have like him. We have the same morals and competitiveness. Whatever I needed, he helped me, especially when it came to sports. Whether it was practices, tournaments, anything, you name it, we did it. I always cherished blasting 60s on 6 until I got annoyed and put on 90s on 9 to sing songs I don't even remember learning. Going on those adventures was our thing, and it will always be our thing. I still keep his sunglasses in the glove box for the rides because I know if I didn't, I'd have to run inside and go grab them for him. If it weren't for the endless drives to random tournaments and practices, I would not be where I am today. The joy and pride I saw on his face when I told him they offered me a spot on the roster for Hofstra was a look I wish I could forever see. It's the little things I will always cherish, like when I was little, I would always ask endless questions, as most of you probably also had to deal with. And Dad never got annoyed, or at least he wouldn't show it. He would simply use his big old brain and answer it, or he will say, "We will Google it when we get home." 2 out of 10 times we'd actually Google it. Or maybe the little obscure things he would find online that and thought I would love, so he got them. Like this one thing, it was this metal strap that hung in front of my face to hold my phone up for me so my arms wouldn't get tired. My favorite of them all is his love for the beach. When I was younger, back when we were on 56th Street, we would stay on the beach until it was pitch black outside. We would just stay relaxing, watching the sunset, building sand turtles, or even a big hole. Those were my favorite because I rarely had to do any of the work. We would then return home, where I would help him cook blue-clawed crabs when, in reality, I would just battle them with tongs until he needed it. When I hear the ocean, I will always think of him. Dad taught me many, many things. The main thing I learned from him was not to be afraid to look a challenge right in the eye and say, "I am not afraid of you." His stubbornness is something I also possess. The desire to never give up on something that I want, and to always work for it despite it seeming out of reach, which is always a good thing. We are forever strong like bull. Healing is a long process. I understand that. No matter what, I will always miss his smile, his laughter, his hugs, his loud snores, and overall the comfort of his presence. Losing someone who knew what I was thinking before I can even begin to understand how to articulate it is someone I will miss for the rest of my life. My goal in life is not to be successful just for myself and Mom and Maura, of course, but for him as well. Dad always made sure we were okay. He would take care of us, so we never had to worry if everything was going to be all right. As he would say, "I have everything handled." I will always keep an eye out for the ladybugs he sends my way through all the rough times. To say I miss him would be an understatement, but as he would say, "C'est la vie."
Love
Hi.
Who are you?
I'm Maura. I wrote this poem 20 days after you passed. And as Megan and Mom talked about, you love the beach. Give me a second.
Got it.
Okay. The sea is now your home, and the stars are your compass. Now we'll travel by boat over thunderous storms. Now we'll travel by boat over thunderous storms, and we will see you again. I'm good. I will learn the language of the sea that you now speak, how mighty it yells with the crashes of currents and whitecaps, how soft it will whisper against my ears as the sand drips off my hand into yours. When we are reunited, we will sail away. Are you reunited? We will sail away. Through oceans blue and sunbeam skies. We will sail away with the man on the moon, singing us his song with his push and pull of the tides. We will sail away with the shells in our pockets, only used to call out, I love you, to the ones who remain back on land. This is where I know I will be home. With the restless storms and calm breezes, the laughter of the seagulls and the somber roars of the whales, I will be home with you once again.
You done good, girl.
I'm so proud of these two. You have no idea. If anybody would like to come up and just say something about them.
Oh, I gotta get my ass up.
Get your ass up, Reilly.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Laura. Hi, Megan. Hi. Those that don't know me, but you don't want to know. I'm the eldest, okay? And I'm quite a difference in age to my kid brother. When I just heard the child screaming, I didn't mean screaming, I'm sorry, crying. It reminded me of the age of difference of us when I was home and I heard him cry. Okay? I was the one that just hollered before when he married Catherine, because the time he was in the hospital, I went up to Vincent, our other brother, who's not with us, and read the riot act to him in the hospital bed. Read him at the big time. I'm sorry, making honest woman after had to do. I'm sorry, making honest woman after. There's one particular thing that happens is, many years ago on Allegheny Avenue there was a pine tree that Philip planted. And when I was doing things over, I took it to the shore. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew. It was nice. And all I could ever remember was its little Philip's tree. Unfortunately, we lost in the storm much too soon, as we did with our Philip, much too soon. I know Vincent was waiting for him up there before Joe, and they were going to have to get the big ones. And I know damn right well, they got them all. Thanks. Little brat. You go up, girl. This is my little sister. My little sister. You want to tell me how much you got? So you were quiet, you got a big mouth.
Yeah, that's one thing you taught me. Hi, everybody. I'm Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Bernadette. Kathy, you'll remember these, I'm sure. You and Phil came down, brought Grandma with us down to Fort Myers, Cape Coral, where I live. We went to Fort Myers Beach. Yeah, and that nice little restaurant, little bar, Top of Mass, which we all love to bend our elbow a lot of times. There was a crane on the beach, and we wondered what was going on. And lo and behold, Phil saw it. So I'm going to do it. And he walked over and he said, okay, here I go. He did the bungee jump. I don't remember what year it was, but Grandma was standing next to me and she said, where's he going? I said, oh, just right over there. What's he going up there? What's he doing? What's he doing? Get him down. I said, oh, he'll come right down. He did, and the look on his face when he came down was like, I can't believe I did that. And he quickly went to top of the mast and remember, he said, I need a stiff one right now.
Crown is in?
Yep, yeah. And then, I think, you guys, I don't remember what day it was or anything, but did you two go parasailing?
I did.
You did. And you got dipped into the water? Yes, yes, I remember that, yeah. So that's all I got. He loved that bungee jump, I'm sure.
Grandma did.
No, she didn't. She didn't. She was very, very upset about that, but it didn't last long.
Thank you.
I didn't see it.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name's Rick Millward, and we have a contingent over here at this table, 4 of our brothers and our wives, for Beta Sigma Lambda, which was his fraternity in college. And what's interesting here is as I listen to his wife and his daughters, I hear that Phil continued to be exactly who he was in college. I just hear some of the same things I saw. Now, of course, our fraternity was pretty wild. And I think one of the things that was interesting to me was I knew him as a freshman and a sophomore, and then I was maybe as a junior as well. But I remember him being a little bit uptight when he first got there, and I think that we had some good influence on loosening him up a bit. I'm not even sure if he would have bungee jumped had he not been in Beta Sig. I remember him having a clear set of who he was and what he believed was right and what he didn't. I think I remember some shenanigans going on in the fraternity, and Phil was just, that's just not right. He definitely had that approach. He was also, I remember, I think as a freshman, he was down near the payphone. That's what he had. There were no cell phones or anything. It was a payphone, and he was right near it. And he felt like it was his duty, and he'd be studying, and that phone would ring, and he couldn't let it just ring. He had to pick it up and then go find whoever was being called, and come back shaking his head. It's like, who am I? Everybody's secretary, that sort of thing. But when he passed away, I think some of us knew that he was having some health issues, but we didn't know how imminent things were. And so Tom and Kevin and I, we were emailing about his passing, and this is the influence that Phil had. A lot of brothers have died over the years, but Tom said, and he was right. Phil was such a great guy. I don't think that he had. I don't really think he had any enemies, and he was always, very friendly to everybody. And Tom said, "I wish we could do some sort of memorial." Well, what you don't know also is that the fraternity started in 1926 and ended in 2017. So the fraternity had also died on campus, and we found that out fairly recently. But because Tom said that, and we just sort of looked into things, Phil created a movement where the fraternity is sort of gathering the brothers from different corners and getting us back together. And what we did was we started emailing all the brothers, and we collected over $5,000 to put on campus a bench and a tree. The tree is for the fraternity, the bench is for the brothers, and we had people spanning 42 years, over 50 brothers came back for the dedication ceremony, and as part of that ceremony, some of Phil's ashes were buried at the base of the tree. And so Phil had an opportunity in his passing to start a whole movement, sort of a resurrection, a rekindling of brotherhood. So that's what Phil accomplished even after he was gone. So we had a homecoming dedication just this last October and an after party, and we're hoping to just continue to grow that. So Thank you, Phil. You got people's butts off their seats and got them doing something. So thank you, Phil.
Come on, somebody has to have a bad story about it.
The nephews, maybe?
Hi, my name is Christian, and Phil is my uncle. For the old people in the back, my name is Christian, and Phil was my uncle. I always knew Phil would be a great dad because he was the best uncle you could ever ask for. He was kind, he was cool. He would take me fishing down in Fortescue where I met Gary and heard stories about Kevin and somebody dirt. One time we were fishing and we're on the party boat and I had one of his lures and I was playing with it over the ocean like this. And of course I wasn't going to drop it, but I did. And Phil punched me in the arm about 11 times. And he was very, very angry at me for dropping his lure. But Phil was a great guy. He'll be forever missed by all of us here. I remember when he was younger but an adult, he would still sit at the kiddie table at Reilly's for Thanksgiving. It took Phil quite a long time to get to the adult table. Not quite as long as the relationship between Kathy and Phil's dating, but it was quite a long time before he got to the adult table at Thanksgiving. Phil had a car, a Monte Carlo, and when I was small, I was like 10, he would take me and I'd sit in the back seat of the Monte Carlo, and those doors on the Monte Carlo probably weighed 50 pounds. It was blue and it had white interior. It was so Phil, so cool. It's pretty awesome. I think I got mad at Phil when he became a dad because he was no longer my fun uncle. He was just a dad. So that's how I knew that Phil was going to be a good dad. And we all miss him terribly, but one day we have faith that we will see him again. Thank you.
Richard.
You guys are amazing. I'm always inspired by people who can get up and talk about some of their most intimate moments with their loved ones. So I'm proud of all three of you. Kathy reminded me of something. She said how Phil was the guy you would call. Phil was the guy you would call. By the way, I'm sorry. It was me. My name is Rich Henry, Kathy's cousin. Hi, Rick. Kathy had said that Phil was the guy you would call if you needed help. What I learned was Phil was also the guy who would come and help you. When you didn't know that you needed help. My wife Katie and I, our son, contracted a very difficult childhood cancer a couple of years ago. He's okay. And I never knew this about Phil, but he grabbed me and he put me aside and he shared the story that he had childhood cancer, a very difficult childhood cancer. I never knew that about Phil. So quiet and unassuming. And he talked to me about what he went through, how difficult it was, that he came through it. And he said, John, I'm doing the same. And he did. And Phil ended up marrying the most beautiful woman, had 2 great kids, and a great life. It was cut short, but it was a great life that could have been cut very short. And he was just such a help and a blessing to me at a time of very difficult need. And I'll never forget it for that. Love it. Love you guys.
Hello.
Hi, Kat.
Hi. Anybody has anything else? My cousin.
Hello, everyone. Phil Henry, that was my baby brother. Kathy's my cousin, and we're from a pretty big family, and we've had dozens and dozens of get-togethers over the years. And like everyone has said, Phil was just the greatest guy to talk to because you sit down and go on and on and on. We had, you know, other than the weather and sports and stuff like that, we always talked about investments. And what fund should we buy? What's the return? So that was always great. And the biggest thing was, how's your pool doing? Is it green?
It's closed.
We didn't open it yet. The cover ripped. And, you know, you could go on for hours and hours just talking about the stupid pool, but that's something we had in common. But I had been working in another company that was owned by Colbro, and it was a cigar company. We were a plastics company, but the major company was cigars, and they used to send us boxes of cigars. So that's another thing we had in common. Get together, look at this cigars I got. Let's try one of these. So it was really nice to sit down and have a cigar in the backyard or whatever it was, or something like that. So God bless.
Everybody's looking at me.
Cheers.
Anyone else? All right, I'm gonna do a slideshow. Oh, wait. It's okay. I'm here.
Philip was my brother-in-law.
Hi, Barbara.
That's my other brother-in-law. Philip and I had ups and downs, mostly ups. He would tell me all the things I did wrong and all the things I should do right. He was a great brother-in-law, but he was a great brother. He and Vince fished all the time. They loved to fish. Philip said, I'll clean, you cook. Not Vince cook, I cook. But they would catch fish and bring them back. But we have so many memories from the shore. Memories of when Vince and I changed the bedrooms around when Kathy and Philip. That's a story she'll tell you, not me. Philip would say I was a mother, I should have been a mother in the 50s, because I was always cleaning. But we would shop together. Well, we'd shop separately, but we put it together. He would cook, or tell us how great of a cook he was, and I would clean up. He was kind. He was loving. I visited him in the hospital many days before he passed. We had this special feeling towards one another and a special bond. he loved his brother Vincent as Vincent loved him. And I know that when Philip passed, Liz was waiting to go fishing. And that's what they're doing, they're fishing. So if you ever go out to fish and there are none, it's because they've got them all.
With Kathy telling them how to
Yeah, not me.
do it. No, Kathy.
I would cook, he would clean. That was the way we went, right? But we have lots of good memories. He was great at the shore. The kids loved being with him. He loved reading and like forgetting that everybody else existed. But, right?
Yeah.
You remember that. He didn't care what we did as long as we were there together. He was a kind man. And he'll be missed.
My cohort in crime.
Getting ready for you to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to miss any of it. I missed the beginning of you because you told me 10 minutes, but it was like 3.
All right. Anybody else? All right. We're going to show you some pictures of many faces of Phil.